Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're taking a look at the Terra by Battat Carnotaurus. Alright you guys, so taking a look at the packaging here. It's the same style as what we saw with the previous Terra by Battat dinosaurs that we looked at here in the channel. Of course, we've reviewed the Tyrannosaurus as well as the Acrocanthosaurus. Really liking the packaging style that they've incorporated here. Of course, it's made out of recycled material. It has that very distinct go green kind of look to it, you know, with the cardboard sort of aspect as well. If you want to pause and read that right there, feel free to do so. It gives you some good information on the Carnotaurus. But all in all, I really like these boxes. They're very simple. Very lightweight, but they're still very nice looking from an aesthetic standpoint. And even though the dinosaur is still exposed, I mean, it's still pretty much in there, and the packaging is pretty sturdy. I mean, it seems like it's going to be pretty hard for this to become damaged. Now, I will say, you guys, that they make it very, very difficult to get these guys out of the cardboard insert in the packaging. I really like the background on there, but it's really hard to get these guys untwisted with these ties. They tie them so tight, and it just takes a while to get them loosened up. And I mean, yeah, it holds the dinosaur in place, but it also in the past seems to have kind of dinged the plastic on my Acrocanthosaurus. Hopefully that won't be the case here. Okay, so it does in fact look like they got a little bit damaged there from the plastic ties there. You can see like it's kind of like a little bit indented there at the ankles. Let's see, this side kind of has it too a little bit. Tail doesn't look too bad though, even though, well, it was secured right here, and I guess you can kind of tell that it was. But yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer. I mean, I like everything about Terra's operation on these dinosaurs, except for the way that they tie them so tightly into the packaging. I mean, just look at that. It's unfortunate that they do it so tightly. I mean, yeah, it's good that the figure is secure inside the box, but it shouldn't ever be at the expense of damaging the product. So, I mean, luckily it doesn't look too noticeable, but, you know, this is certainly something that they need to improve upon as they go forward, you know, with more repaints and more releases in this line. But as you can see, it's a very nicely sculpted dinosaur. From what I understand, this was sculpted about 20 years ago, and it really doesn't look it. I mean, it is a very nicely done sculpt of this animal. Very, very cool. Lots of little detail on its body. The coloration, I think, is just really, really great. Actually, it reminds me a good bit of the, if any of you guys are familiar with the Dynamation dinosaurs. Of course, Dynamation was the robotics company that made the large robotic dinosaurs that would travel around the world from different museums, in zoos and such. I remember seeing them as a kid, and he's going to have a hard time standing, it looks like. I always was a fan of the Dynamation dinosaurs because, you know, it was just really cool. The closest you could really get to seeing a real dinosaur was those big robots. And as I understand it, Dynamation went out of business, and a lot of their dinosaurs are still around in museums and zoos and such for people to enjoy. But yeah, this really looks like the Dynamation life-size T-Rex. It was kind of like a dark blue color with a, you know, reddish-looking neck and, you know, gray on the underside. And that kind of, it just has that feel. But yeah, let me give you a close-up of our Carnotaurus. It's actually very nicely sculpted. Carnotaurus, of course, has a very unique look with a very rounded looking head that's very narrow, and they certainly accomplished that here. As you can see, one of the horns is bent. That is normal for this sculpt. You know, they all are like that, but it certainly does look a little bit disfigured, doesn't it? Like the lower jaw looks like it's a little bit off to the left. The eyes also look a little bit uneven, maybe. Like, let's see, here it is on this side, and then if we go to that side, seems like that eye is a little bit higher, but then again, it could be because the horn is positioned differently on that side. Yeah, it just looks a little bit distorted still, but nonetheless, you know, it's a good-looking dinosaur. Eyes themselves are painted quite nicely. The teeth look pretty nice. Let's see if we can see any detail there in the mouth. Not a whole lot of detail in the mouth, but you know, the teeth at least are individually sculpted. And, you know, very nice skin on this dinosaur model. It just looks very natural, very bumpy, lots of lines and segments, and, you know, just gives it a very realistic type look. The underside is nicely detailed. Let's see if we can read what it says there on the belly. Carnotaurus, Battat Inc. And does it have a year? Can we see a year on here anywhere? Can't really make out a year, but there's a stamp right there, and it says made in China. 04-15-15. So I guess this was made earlier this year. Or, as I've heard, these are repaints from the originals, actual physical repaints of the originals. So, you know, could very well be a 20-year-old piece of plastic that they just got around to repainting. So perhaps that's the date that they repainted it. But very nice. I mean, there's no articulation or anything. The stubby arms look a little bit funny. And then it's got some lean legs that have a good amount of musculature to them. The feet look pretty decent. You can see it has like some like yellowish looking claws on its feet. Definitely a nice physique that it has. I think that looks quite realistic for what you're getting here. It's a $6 dinosaur. So in that respect, you can't expect a whole lot, but I think for what you're getting, it's really a pretty good deal. The only drawback, like I said, is the fact that it's tied in so securely with those bands. You know, that is a drawback, and it seems like it's standing okay now. Initially it wasn't standing too well. I mean, I think if you can at least get it to balance on the tail decently, it seems to be okay. So yeah. If you're interested in the Terra by Battat dinosaur line, you can get them at Target. Like I said, the smaller dinosaurs are $5.99, which is a really, really good deal. The medium-sized ones are $7.99, and then the larger ones like the T-Rex and the Acrocanthosaurus are $9.99. All in all, I'm quite happy with this piece for the price. I think it's a really nicely sculpted dinosaur. The paint operations on it are very nicely accomplished. As long as you go into this thinking, you know, that you're going to get, you know, a decent dinosaur for the price that's not going to necessarily be up to modern standards with like Papo or Rebor or something like that, I think you're going to like it quite a bit. Especially if you're a fan of Carnotaurus. I think this is a pretty nice piece to have in your collection. And as I understand it, all the Terra by Battat dinosaurs are 1/40th scale. Alright, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the Carnotaurus down in the comments. And as always, I want to thank you for watching. Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.